To take a payment, we're going to start in the Cash Receipts Activity Center and click on Take a Payment. Search for your customer's account by using their name, contract number, or any other search criteria listed. The first tab you're going to see is the Customer Information tab. You'll see here there's a payment promised. Here's a screen note saying that the customer's mom gives NSF checks. If you need to update customer information, you can click Edit Customer and update personal address or contact information. You can view account information on the second tab. You can see the payment history, the totals, the account totals or balances, and then you can see the different types of balances that we have for this account. So we have a payment balance and a pickup balance. We're going to skip process payment just for a minute and we'll look at the customer notes tab. To show all the notes, I'll just click show notes, and you can see here we've added a promise to pay. Here's a note that somebody left a message with the mom. So you can see everything that's been done to this account and any notes that you have put in. You can view all those. You can add a note by clicking Add Note and then filling out the activity log. And just a tip, if you have just a short note that you want to add, like this left message with mom up here, enter that in the reference field and it'll appear here on the screen. If you had more notes or a more substantial note that you needed to enter, put that information here in the notes section, and then when I went to view a note, then I would see those here. The next tab is the Alerts or Promise to Pay tab. So you can see there's already a promise to pay on this account. And you can also see that the screen note. And then you'll also see all collections notes that have been added to the system. You can print the notes, refresh notes to make sure you have all the up-to-date information. And then you can add a promise to pay by clicking that button. Click Add Promise to Pay and enter the date for the promise amount, and then double-click Additional Note to add any notes that you want, like the reason for delinquency or something like that. And then click Save, and it will save your promise, and it'll appear here. If you wanted to create stacked promises, you could do that. Like we have one for Friday, so we could add another one for next Friday. Enter the same amount. And then note. And then save that, and it would add the second promise to pay. If you needed to delete a promise to pay for some reason, you can just come in and highlight the promise, click Remove Promise to Pay, and it would take that out of the system. The Invoices tab is going to allow you to view all the invoices that have been added to the account. You can maintain or add fees if you need to, and if you have recurring invoices set up, you could edit the recurring invoices. Now back to the Process Payment tab. This is where you're actually going to take the payment in the system. You'll want to put in the receipt date, which is going to default to today's date. Enter the lot that the payment was being received at. So if you have multiple locations, enter the specific lot the customer came to. Put in who's making the payment. So if it's someone other than the customer, enter their name. And then determine how their payment's being made. If it's a walk-in payment, if it was through the mail, over the phone. If it's on file, that's probably like an ACH payment. If it's a third party or your Dropbox. And then how they're making the payment. Is it a cash payment, a check, or a credit card? If you do make a cash payment, let's just say, for example, they came in with $200, but they only want to make a payment for the $168.17, then you can enter that information and the system will calculate the amount of change to give to the customer. So put the full amount they brought in the gross receipt, put the amount they're actually paying in the amount paid field, and then when you hit tab, it'll calculate the amount of change for you. If they're making a principal only payment, then click that button and it will then send that payment directly to principal rather than the payment. Okay, otherwise click Save Payment and you're going to get a pop-up asking if you want to print a receipt and add a message to it. Click yes or no. And the system's going to finish up the transaction and it's going to ask you if you want to search for another contract, exit, take a payment, or continue with this contract. I do want to point out the options menu at the top of the page. Here you can search for another contract, view or print the ledgers, create an account memo or a screen note. And again, an example of the screen note would be this note you want your cashiers to see. It's not something that's going to be printed or anything like that. It's just something that you want other users to see. You can view invoices, view pickup payments. From this screen, you can quote a future payoff by entering the payoff date. So if you want to do a 10-day payoff, you could do a 10-day payoff. Enter the company that is requesting the payoff, who the contact was, and then their phone number. And then either log or print and log the payoff quote. And you'll see the quote down here along with the daily interest or per diem. So I'm going to log that and click close. You could also view a status screen from the Take a Payment Center. You can lock and or unlock payments. So if you no longer want this customer to be able to make a payment until they speak to a manager, you could lock the account so that your cashiers won't be able to make a payment without getting someone with the correct user rights to unlock it. You can print letters, view and add or delete tags. Just come in here and click add and then select a tag that you want to add to this account. Like maybe we want it to say no checks. So we don't want to accept any checks from this customer. We want to, let's see, save that, cancel, close, and then there will now be a tag on the account saying no checks. And if you have the Iteron auto kill or auto stop device that's going to kill the motor, then you can enter those commands here in the payment center as well. So once you've completed your payment, then you can close the Take a Payment activity and you will have completed that process.